I am asked to share my views on few topics like the trends in the global economy, some challenges for the new age economy, and how we are working towards making some resilient workforce. So I'll quickly touch upon a few of these topics before I get into the primary agenda, which I would want to talk about. I won't take a lot of your time because I would want the session to be more of interactive sessions. Like these sessions are always good if you can ask some questions. If there are a few questions which you want to ask, please feel free. If you want to interrupt in between, that's fine. And if at all you would want to ask some questions at the end about it during the question and answer sessions, all good. Okay, so let me start with touching upon some of the topics like global economy. So currently, if you look into the overall paradigm, look like the primary factor currently is COVID, right? And this factor has actually changed this whole landscape. There is nothing called global economy anymore. Each of these countries, they are a universe on their own. One day the economy seems to be thriving, and next day it looks like it's all shut down. It's doomed, right? There are so many lockdowns and all those things which directly impacts the economy. So if at all you look into these economic aspects of any of these countries or globally, if you would want to see, do not look now at these things horizontally. It is more of the vertical or to be looked upon as specifics, which actually is a nice segue for us to get into the next topic, which is how do we create the resilient workforce, or what is this new age economy all about, right? So in this new age economy, it is all about the knowledge-based soft economy. It is no longer the production-based, production pipeline-based economies where you have a manager and then you have a workforce, then you delegate some tasks to the workforce. The workforce do not necessarily know what needs to be done, but yeah, they have some tasks, but these tasks are not aligned to the strategies or the larger objectives of the industry or the organization. It is more to do about the hands rather than the minds. But the new age economy, it is a different paradigm. It's a shift, right? So here, the brains are more valued than this organization structure. The people, those who are down there in the pyramid, they are equally important as the management is. Here, the culture is more transparent. The larger objectives of the industry or the organization is really clear to everyone. People work for a common objective. It's more of a collaborative team. There is no general or a manager sitting on the top, and there are no directives which are like just tasks which are assigned to separate silos. It's more of a collaborative horizontal stream where a lot of people working together towards a common objective, right? So it's more of an engaging, participative, and shared ownership kind of a structure where the sense of ownership, sense of accomplishment allows you, or it fosters the resilience within the employees, within the people. Not only this, the sense of belonging to the KPIs, the larger objective or the strategy of the organization, that also brings in the resiliency within the employees. So you do not have to actually foster in by creating some separate programs, but how you operate, it gives you an opportunity to foster the resiliency within the employee base. And that's where we have seen a huge turnaround or a huge change. Initially, the industry was more about the throughput, the efficiency of an employee, how many hours you are working and what are the products you are creating and the number of the products you are creating. Now it's all about the effectiveness of an employee. Efficiency is no longer the buzzword. The effectiveness is, are you future ready? Are you able to get into the problem statement and get the answers for us? No matter what, how different the problem statement is from what it was initially. If it's a new world, you should be adaptive. You should be upskilling yourself all the time. So in order for an employee to be able to upskill themselves, the organization needs to help them upskill, right? There are various technologies like artificial intelligence, RPAs, robotics process automations, all kind of automation things which you need to kind of be well versed with. And if you are well versed with these things, you are primarily resilient already. And along with the KPIs which you have in mind, that okay, I'm working towards one common objective with my management, there is sense of ownership, sense of belonging, and now you are already upskilled with all this technology tech. So it is more of fostering the resiliency. There are different objectives which these new age organizations they work towards. So if there is a knowledge-based economy, the organization also need to work towards the mental health of employees. Initially, it was production pipeline-based organization, and the organization would only look into the physical health of an employee. But now, since it's a new age organization, they are expected to take care of the financial health of an employee, mental health of employee, the physical health of employee. So all these things put together, it kind of creates a resilient employee. Along with that, there is a tendency of shifting left. Earlier, it was only the product team and the marketing teams. They will get you some requirement. Okay, this is what I want to create. They will give you at the start of the life cycle of the product, and then you meet at the end of the life cycle of the product with some product, and you go back to the marketing team and you created something like you don't know like where the market has already moved. You were never dynamic. But now in this age, agility has become so very important. You are expected to work with the customer and bring in the value on the table, right? So if the customer needs are changing, if their value proposition is changing, you are expected to change the dynamics of your product as per the dynamic changing needs of the customer. And if you do that, that's where you actually bring the value on the table for the customer. So customer is the king, is the buzzword is always said, but how do you adapt to that? You adapt to that by working closer to that. And who should work closer to the customer? It's the employees in the lower pyramid, just not the management that needs to work with the customer. It's the agile team which is across the silos. So if you say back in the days when there were traditional organizations or the typical production pipeline organization, there were a lot of silos. Now it's all agile. There are like several SMEs that they sit together, work together. Every aspect of production pipeline has now totally changed. Every aspect of operating structure of the organization has totally changed. In this new age, it's only about how you implement these things. So the challenges which we are facing today is how you bring that transparent culture, how you build the sense of belonging in the employees, how you build the framework so the employees can easily upskill themselves while they are doing their BAU work, how you ensure that your frameworks allow your employee to work closely with the customers. They do not have to go through some bureaucratic mechanisms and then be able to talk to somebody. So today, it's a whole new world where things have changed from the typical traditional production pipeline world. It's more of a knowledge-based economy already. And looking at the Indian landscape, I see there are a lot of unicorns already popping out of Indian landscape. I see there were like some 2-digit unicorns already popped out of India in the last couple of years. For you guys, I believe because of these pandemics, like the changing variants of this COVID, I see there is a huge pressure on these global organizations. A lot of jobs are moving to countries where we can get the employees for, say, lesser rates in comparison to, say, London or New York or Jacksonville or Germany. India provides a niche opportunity to its demography that you have young manpower, you have knowledge, and yes, there is an opportunity. I can most certainly see whole lot of jobs moving from so many different countries to India. Right now, I have a team which is in Gurgaon, in Pune, in Bangalore, like in India, right? And and otherwise it is in several other countries like Germany and Australia and UK and many others. But when I see into my teams sitting out there in India, I can just simply tell you, we are struggling to hire people. We are just printing the offer letters for them, and people are having multiple jobs currently, and they are not able to join. They are like kind of trading that, okay, I already have one more job. Would you be able to give me more than what these guys are offering? So the current landscape in India, it's really, really positive. So the message, if at all I have to give to you, is be resilient, be ready. The economy has already moved into the knowledge-based economy. It's no longer a pipeline-based or production pipeline-based economy. You should be ready with the expectation. The industry is expecting you to deliver it. There are no different courses to be a resilient employee. The mechanism, the frameworks which are implemented in these organizations, it helps you become a resilient employee. How you can upskill yourself? You are currently in a organization which provides you ample opportunity. If you cannot utilize these opportunities, and if you sit in an interview and you say, oh, I did not get to learn these things, and people understand, like, you have so many internship opportunities, there are so many projects you can always do, you can get out in the market and do so many different type of projects. It's all about getting the exposure and the experience in the market, going back to the table, talking to your interviewer and saying, okay, I have this to offer, what can you offer me? And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so I think I managed to deliver the message which I intended to, and primarily I would want to have some questions if anybody would want to ask. Fantastic, I see some hands. Maybe somebody can type. I probably can read, or maybe if you can speak a bit louder. Yeah, better. So the job market, like, so currently I'm in US, but I have job open for my own team in several countries currently. And for management, it is, so if at all, I like, say, assume I am interviewing somebody for a managerial position. So what would be the expectation I am looking for? The expectation, first thing first, assume a critical scenario. I would give you a case, right? Assume you are talking to a CEO of a company. A typical CEO is expected to make, say, 200 different type of decisions in a day. So assume you are a CEO and you have 200 different files, and you have to make different decisions in one single day in these 8 hours. So first thing what you would need from your team is somebody can stand up and tell me, so assume I am a CEO, or assume you are a CEO, what you would expect is somebody can tell the problem statement in minimal words. In one liner, can you tell me the problem statement? Okay, I need your decision on this thing. This is where you need communication. So communication is the key. If you are managing anything, if you are managing any team, first thing which is required is communication. You should be able to send your message across in minimal words. You should not be taking more than 5 seconds. You should always remember this pyramid. You start with 10 words, and then you keep increasing the number of words. Only if a question is asked. Assume you are a police commissioner sitting somewhere, right? I report to you. I'll reach out to you and tell you, okay, there was a bomb blast, and I delivered you the message. I did not to tell you 20 different stories. First thing, there was a bomb blast. You being a police commissioner, you will ask me where. then I'll tell you, okay, Islamabad. And you will like, who cares? Because you are a police commissioner of, say, Bhopal, right? So it is outside of your scope. But the message was delivered in minimal number of words. So when I hire a manager, first thing what I would look into is how effectively you are able to communicate, the number of words which you are using to pass your message across. Because at the end of the day, you would be dealing with, say, 20 other employees. I don't want to sit there with you and listen to 1,000 different stories. So normally what happens is, you are in an executive meeting, and there, you being a manager, you would want to pass across a lot of messages to your management that, okay, look, for last 1 month, all the 20 employees have done an incredible job. Yes, you would want to pass across this message, but how do you pass that message? So normally what you are expected to do is, rather than telling me that all of you guys, you climbed the mountain and then you had so many obstacles there and all that, rather than that, if you give me one problem statement saying, okay, we were on that mountain and that guy in the team, he was not feeling well. So that one statement gives me an opportunity to ask you a question. Okay, so why were you there? Oh, we were there doing this. So rather than telling me the story, if you just provide me the problem statement, when you talk to your management, to your senior management, the only thing what the senior management expect you to deliver is, where do you need management's help? And within that, if you want to tell any story, you can always provide the story when a question is asked. So that is the key thing any manager is expected to do. Communication is the key, no matter what sort of team you are in and what you are doing. So primary thing is the communication. Second, yes, upskilling according. So today there is a technology in the market. Tomorrow there's a different technology in the market. You should be adaptable. You shouldn't be crybaby. Oh, I spent 6 months doing that. Now I am expected to learn this. Yeah, that's the rule. These are the ground rules. This is where the world starts now. That's why you are being paid way more than what we used to pay back in the days, right? So back in the days in India, probably somebody was paying you only 10,000, and now they are paying you $1 million in Indian currency, right? So, or maybe 2 million. Like we pay somewhere around 3 million to people, 5 million to people, maybe a crore to people. Yeah. So there are a lot of managers we pay sensible numbers, but the fact is the expectation, it keeps increasing. So you should be adaptable with the changing needs of the market. Your communication should be crisp, clear. The message which we want you to deliver should be really clear. So, yeah, these are the key items which anybody would want on the table from the person who we are interviewing. I hope I answered you, although I took a lot of your time, but I just wanted to make sure that anyone who is not getting it with few lines, they get it with the examples and the stories, or maybe some tales if I have to tell you. So I hope I covered it. If not, please ask more questions. So don't worry about it. Keep asking. Yeah, I see more hands. Good morning. Fantastic. Okay, so you want to listen to a tale, right? So a tale where a boy is sitting in a desert. So primarily, I come from Rajasthan, so which is a desert state in India, and there's a small town in Rajasthan. That is Bikaner. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that name before, other than some maybe delicacies from there. Yeah, so I was based out of the I'm from that town. Passed my engineering in 2004. I was university gold medalist, first rank there from Rajasthan University. So that's where my journey started. Although there were not a whole lot of opportunities, but I was always ready to make mistakes. So if somebody asked me what is the key thing which I did, or what is the only thing which I did right, like I was very sure that I have nothing to lose. So if I have nothing to lose, the one thing which I can consistently make is mistake. Assume I have, like when I started, I had a 20,000 rupees job. I was like, even if I blow off everything in this job, I'm not going to lose anything. Like this 20,000 is peanuts, right? So if I can make every mistake I can. So do I have a privilege to commit all those same type of mistakes now? Not necessarily, right? Maybe I am not at the very top of my career yet. There are few more steps which I have to climb. The ladder is still more higher than what I would wanted to have achieved by now. But primarily it was the mistakes I kept making. So there was, if there was a contention between myself and my manager, I will go out there and I'll put my points very clearly. He likes it or not, who cares? Worst, I lose the job, but I got a learning that I made a mistake. I should never argue with my manager. It's not a costly affair, right? I just lost 20,000 and learned an important lesson. So that's what I kept doing in my life. Initially I started working as a researcher in CDAC, which is a supercomputing organization. There I used to write computer programs for ISRO, where ISRO was creating some satellites. So my job was to integrate these satellites with the supercomputers which CDAC was creating. So that's where it was a government job. I was not really satisfied with that, and I wanted to move to a different thing. So I moved to Bharat Electronics Limited. These guys, they were creating submarines. So I thought, okay, it is real exciting. So I moved there, and I worked on those submarines for some time, maybe a couple of years, and then it felt monotonous, and I wanted to make more money. So I wanted to move to corporate rather than government. Because in government, there are so many different rules, right? There are reservations in promotions and all those. So I didn't want to get into that loop. And I was, okay, let me find out my own trajectory. So I moved to corporate. So there is one corporation named Oracle Corporation. And I started working for Oracle. I moved to Bangalore. And from there, I was working for their US client, that is Citibank. And Citi wanted me to come to Florida. So they asked Oracle to send me over. So Oracle transferred me to Citi here in Florida. And from there on, I moved to Deutsche Bank for last 5 years. I'm working here, and seems to be a really nice company. And if a person like myself who like to keep changing job is there in this company for last 5-6 years, I think these guys, they treat their employees pretty well. So yeah, that's what I would say for the current one. But yeah, like the key message is keep making mistakes, right? So the one thing which will help you the most is the mistakes which you made. Yes, there will be books. Yes, there will be lectures like myself. I don't know how much you would carry from this one. Like I myself don't remember back in the days if there was any lecture if I attended and if I remember anything whatsoever. So I do not expect you guys to remember as well. So only thing is, if I tell you I have to take anything back home from this one, communication is the key. Keep making the mistakes. Don't worry. You have nothing to lose. But like 10 years down the line, once you are a VP somewhere, assistant vice president somewhere, director somewhere, making a handsome money, you probably would not want to make mistakes then. But make sure you make hell lot of mistakes now, right? Because these mistakes will help you look things from a different perspective, because when you are under pressure, once you make a mistake, like everybody will probably will go for you, right? They would want to just simply finish you. That okay, I want this guy out of this hierarchy. This guy is making so many mistakes. We don't want him. So that's where you are under pressure. So you are under immense pressure. So I don't know if you guys have followed Indian cricket. I remember there was a incident which happened with Harbhajan Singh in Australia, and there was a monkey gate incident between Harbhajan and Andrew Simons. And I remember after that, this guy was totally under the bus, Harbhajan, and but after that thing was over, this guy he was like so successful. So keep making the mistakes. Probably that is the only thing I would want you to probably carry. Yeah, that is it. Thank you so much for listening. All the garbage probably. Oh yeah, you are. I'm sorry, major attributes. I'm sorry, I'm missing the last few keywords. Attributes of. Oh, okay. So the values which we look for, right? So, okay, all right. So the key values which we look for, the first one is integrity. Second, customer focus. Third, how innovative you are. Yeah, these are the top three. Mm-hmm. So my target was simple. I wanted to make more money. So and there was this organization named Oracle, right? And I was good at what I used to do, and they were ready to offer me what I was asking for. So primarily, I learned to sell myself properly. So I built my own skill set in initial part of my career, and then yes, later on I learned to sell that properly. So I don't think there is any rocket science behind it. It was just simple window shopping, and I was looking for the people, those who can buy it for a higher value, and I just trying to find out some big names which I can associate with my profile. That was in the initial part of my career, and once I started getting the exposure into these corporations, and I can just tell you that the experience was incredibly good, because the processes, the controls, and and the frameworks which these guys have. At first, it does not allow you to make too many mistakes. Second, if you try to find out the gaps in this, it will help you think at the next level. So you just simply cannot think at the lower level, because the frameworks and the controls are already so fine-tuned that if at all you want to improve and want to take them to the next level, you should already be thinking couple of notches higher than what you generally would be. So working in the larger corporation, it most certainly helps. That their values, their systems, their frameworks, they are completely of different levels. So yes, I happen to have the exposure both into government and corporate. So yes, I can most certainly tell you by my own experience that the work which we do here in corporates, it's well defined, it's articulated. There are KPIs that you need to deliver X thing by this date. Unlike from my experience, I won't simply go ahead and blame all the governments everywhere and every single department on the planet, but I would say where I used to work, I'll keep that in the scope. There they had the opportunity to improve their scope and their KPIs and their objectives. But when I moved to corporates, it's a completely different ball game altogether, and it actually is really helpful for the employees as well, because you know what I have to do. You don't have to come up with ideas, and you don't have to create your own work, because initially when you start working, you would want some handholding, and that's handholding. If the system is providing you, or the controls and the framework is providing you, that's the best tool to be, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it from my experience and comparison between corporate and government per se. Fantastic.